All right, NAST Week 3, Chikara Eclipse versus Groundhog Day. Should be an exciting match for sure. Groundhog Day's map pick. Game 1 of this series on Gates of Obscura. The Deadeye heavy impact start. This is going to be a brawl. We got the Aimi Zen Finny from Chikara and the Pummeler's Deadeye Luna coming out on the side of Groundhog Day. This is going to be a fun one. Cloak Oak, run us through what you think this is going to be looking like.
Well, as you just pointed out, we do have cannon bite breakers coming out from Chikara Eclipse. But I have to say, Lego, I'm a little bit worried for Eclipse, because I don't know if you know this, but they came off of a loss to Handless Dogs last week, 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what Groundhog Day is an anagram of? It's an anagram of Greyhound Dog, Lego Mage. These guys are facing the second dog for a second week in a row, and I'm worried. They haven't done so good against the dogs so far.
Well, lucky for them, groundhogs are traditionally rodents, I think. Or something like that. I think they're with like rabbits, so they're rodents.
But Lego, it's an anagram of Greyhound Dog. Okay? It's an anagram of Greyhound Dog. Listen, Lego, the puzzle pieces, they're fitting together. It's all a big conspiracy. This goes all the way to the top, Lego.
Top that thing's big dog doesn't want you to know. Oh my. Well, luckily for us, this first point has gone on pretty long here. Cragley with a potentially good shot here to the top doesn't find the angle. Jewish Asian makes a nice save with the flip as it gets back to the midfield here. Cragley looking for the opportunity. The slice and dice. The glitch pop to confirm it off the somersaults. And will be Chikara Eclipse who start us off with the first point as they look to get past their great foe. All canines, apparently.
And I do have to say, I think that in terms of comp strength, Eclipse has selected one that's really good for this map and for this start. I have to imagine that this was not the Awakening start that Groundhog Day was planning for when they picked this map. And, I mean, Spring Rolls rocking the Pummeler's Luna Brawler. Definitely not something you get to see every day, but it's not going to stop him from taking barriers. Just some fantastic offense there by Spring Rolls and Sphinx is going to equalize our barriers here as we move into a neutral stage.
Spring Rolls bring up the top side with the Crater Maker. Nice save here from Scandals. Gets it back up to Cragley. Jewish Asian through the portal. Lexar just sends it right back through, but Sphinx with the Strikes War. Keeping Chikara on their toes. Core Flip not able to connect here from Spring Rolls. And now Cragley looking to bring it to the top corner. A pass down to Scandals. Firewall Sentry doesn't connect. Jewish Asian. Tough corner defense makes it through. Spring Rolls with the boost, but Lexar able to make the save off a nice Strike War. And now back up to Cragley in the top corner. Slice and Dice not able to connect. Scandals can't find it on the rebound. Big finish. A pass up to Scandals through the portal. Blocked back. Crater Maker comes out again. Doesn't find much. There's a Tofu Fortress in return from Jewish Asian. Boosting in. Spring Rolls doesn't get it off the rebound, though. Jewish Asian's got to go back in. Big Zeno coming out. Cragley not able to connect with the dash. Lexar sends it back in. Core Flip in front of the line. The save from Jewish Asian with the primary. And now Scandals back on the midfield. Dribbling. Trying to get it back into this top corner. Triple take comes in. A Cyber Swipe into Core Flip KO here from Scandals. It's the power play for Chikara Eclipse. Core Flip from Lexar gets sent right back at him from Sphinx. Now in the top corner, the Firewall Sentry comes out, but it's Lexar who finishes it off on the rebound. And Chikara Eclipse on set point.
Yeah, a nice 2-point lead from them. And while we're on the subject about Chikara Eclipse, something very important that I didn't even mention is their roster's looking a little different today. It's not just that Scandals is out of the goal box. We've got Lexar in there now, and Zonseki is nowhere to be found. But that does mean that we're seeing Cragley Brawler. And Cragley was originally a Brawler main, but we've been seeing him in the midfield for quite some time now. And throwing it down in the midfield, mind you. Like, this dude has been making some fantastic plays in the midfield. But it's good to see him back on home plate, you know? I feel like Cragley Brawler was always a fun time, and seeing him now get to rock it in Nasty, even more fun.
Yeah, for sure. Nice power play kill here from Groundhog Day. Cragley still putting shots on this barrier, making Jewish Asian work for it, and earning his pay, though. Jewish Asian not letting it fall despite all the pressure. Now Sphinx's Spring Rolls try to get some pressure of their own. All three members of Eclipse holding it down as we go into overtime here. Sphinx tries to go to spring roll, but Scandals cuts the pass. Back into the corner, the Tofu Fortress comes out and sends it back to the midfield. Sphinx, off a nice set of interactions there, opens up Chikara's side of the goal, up to the top corner. Lexar makes a save with the primary, but Sphinx with the little mix-up there puts Lexar on their toes. Groundhog Day able to put themselves on the board.
Yeah, last on the board, they haven't had any problems getting barriers, making progress on offense. It's mainly just been, these well-timed power plays as well as shutouts from the side of Eclipse that have just ensured that at any point in time, not all three members of Groundhog Day can actually participate in the play. And even when they are, like we just saw right there, all three members of Groundhog Day on defense, still Scandals and Cragley find both barriers, and they've got Lexar running up with a flip now. So it's just been a fantastic bit of offensive masterclass from the side of Chikara Eclipse. And Cragley there, mixing up both the enemy midfielder and goalie there, getting the better of the Groundhogs and putting them up a set. That's Chikara Eclipse taking set number 1.
And first draft going over to Bite Breakers. Looks like Ad Rush, Bulk Up might be things about eyeing. It will be Monumentalist going over to Lexar, though. Jewish Asian going to opt for the explosive entrance to deny that away from two dash-hungry characters on the other side. Ariel's also going to get denied away here on the Luna. Interesting choice. They just really do not want Cragley to get enabled. They'll end up getting Bulk Up regardless, so still some pretty good awakenings going over to the side of Chikara Eclipse here, and I think a less than impressive draft from Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear they're trying to limit Cragley's scaling, but can you really say that you've done your job of limiting a Zentaro's scaling when you've left Bulk Up on the board? Like, there's a very real chance if I'm, Cragley in that draft that I'm taking Bulk Up over a Dash Awakening anyways. I tend to think that they're not that useful on Gates of Obscura. But maybe, Jewish Asian spring rolls, they really are sticking to the old guns of you definitely don't want to give Zen a Dash Awakening if you can avoid it. And it's even, Jewish Asian willing to take a Dash Awakening on Dubu to make that happen. But that's Explosive Entrance coming into play right there. Explosive Entrance Dubu. The roll is able to just KO Cragley right there. And it doesn't matter how much stagger you have. The Bulk Up's not going to do anything when you've got your back to the wall and a massive hamster rolling at your face.
Yeah, it's Explosive Pauldron's heavy impact Dubu, so that somersault is going to launch people pretty far in those corners. A nice shot here from Shinx, though. The secondary gets it past everyone. As Jewish Asian committed fully to the offense on that point, but Groundhog Day coming out and playing a little bit more aggressively there, despite what we were saying about the draft.
Yeah, they did totally find that point. Got a power play and immediately made the most out of it. Now, Scandals is building up those stacks on stacks. He's going to very quickly become more of a formidable force in the midfield than he already has been. A nice strike war by Cragley there to find the second barrier. And there is those stacks on stacks for Scandals. And the core just floats right up to Cragley, who puts it swiftly away in the top corner.
I slipped away from the defense of Groundhog Day there a little bit. Bit of a misplay as it just kind of floated right up to where Cragley was standing, but so far these points mostly been pretty tight right now. Big action in this top corner as Spring Rolls gets taken off the field with the core flip available. A power play for Chikara Eclipse. They bring it to the top side here. Scandals and Cragley pressing hard. Lexar even up at the midfield line here, trying to get this barriers, but Groundhog Day unrelenting, not letting it happen, and Spring Rolls actually able to get a barrier with the boost off of the respawn now. Cragley versus the Tofu Fortress in the corner. Not able to find much. The big finish comes out. Core flip here. Will pick up one barrier off of Groundhog Day. Jewish Asian walking through the portals here, keeping the defense up. Sphinx is pretty hurt as well and has to play a little bit further back. Scandal still has a flip available. We'll see if they go for it here. Looking for a nice shot there. A great save by Jewish Asian, though. Scandal's able to pick it up on the rebound. Open goal on the side of Groundhog Day. Cragley on the bottom side. The slice and dice. Jewish Asian makes a save. Nice hit stun from Spring Rolls to prevent Scandals' core flip coming out. And now back pass up to Cragley, looking for the dribble into the dash. Doesn't find it here. Might have another chance. Another great save. Groundhog Day. Purely on the defense right now. Scandals sending it back in. The backwards Tofu Fortress from Jewish Asian comes in big. Now Sphinx working back to the field, but he's flipped through the portal. Now Cragley with an opportunity. Jewish Asian rolling out. Core flip here from Scandals. No one covering the top side. Chikara Eclipse bring it to set point again.
I mean, again, nice defense from the side of Groundhog Day. We do always love to see the backwards soup. One of the early adopters of that maneuver was Jewish Asian, and he's still sticking to it to this day. We're seeing more people use it now, though, which is exciting, but it's just not enough. Eclipse are still just being super consistent, and they've been really good about paying close attention to when Groundhog Day are overcommitting on defense, right? Because even though, yes, they know how to stack, if Eclipse are going to keep pressing that side, it's absolutely going to, be a fine defensive hold. But Eclipse are perfectly comfortable to just rotate around them until it's not a problem. But it is now turning in the favor of Groundhog Day. They are the ones with a massive barrier advantage right now, and Sphinx has a core flip and is ready to use it.
Pushing back here a little bit in this corner, but back up to Spring Rolls. Doesn't find the boost, though. They rotate back around to Cragley. They'll pick up one barrier. Core flip here from the Zentaro. Pass up to Scandals. A nice save. Now a core flip from Scandals. They'll pick up the barrier. Both sides opened up now. Sphinx really low, having to play in the corner right now. Lexar with the core. Passes it through the portal. Sphinx waiting right there, but the triple take makes it hard to do much. Boosting in Spring Rolls. A great save from Lexar with the strike. Warren passes right back up to Cragley. Textbook 50-50 into the top net. Cragley will be taking another set here for Chikara Eclipse. They're looking pretty good this match so far. Scandal's going to be the MVP, and this could be another good draft for them. It might be out of reach for Groundhog Day in Game 1.
Yeah, this is looking like a fantastic draft. Now, mind you, IME does not get to pick up Timeless here, but Extra Special is basically the next best thing. Some would argue that it's even better than Timeless, and denying it away from Jewish Asian is really the real value behind that. It's massive awakening on IME. It means Jewish Asian doesn't get more Tofu Fortresses. He'll settle for Missile Prop instead. Timeless on Sphinx. 1-2 punch on Cragley is scary. This dude has an insane Zentaro damage build. And they've had no trouble finding KOs as a team this whole game, in addition to just being in control of the core for most of the time as well. It kind of seems like Chikara Eclipse have no weakness in this match. And I think that unless we can see some KOs come out from Groundhog Day, it is going to very quickly resemble those previous two sets, and we'll be off to Game 2 before long.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get too much use out of that Pummeler's Luna this match. They've been playing so defensively. They've had to be, really. Creator Maker accidentally sends it backwards, though, through the portal, and Cragley's there waiting. That's not going to be one you're going to be easily able to defend. Chikara Eclipse striking first yet again now. And this is beginning to look like it might be a Game 1 sweep.
Yeah, Scandals is winning just about every interaction in the midfield. It's rare that I see this guy lose anything, and he's so consistently positioned to catch whatever, the backup response is from the side of Groundhog Day. Doing so much here, and it means that Lexar essentially always has defensive cooldowns as well. So even when, we do see these short offensive bursts from the side of Groundhog Day, it always just seems fruitless because there's so much defensive tempo, always plenty of cooldowns to respond to whatever Groundhog Day can throw out there, that it's bound to swing back in the way of Eclipse in just a moment. That being said, it is a power play for Groundhog Day right now. Let's see if they can capitalize on it.
And picking up that second barrier is a good way to start off. It's clear here from Cragley to rotate it out. Now Jewish Asian with the core brings it up to Sphinx. The pass is going to get interrupted. Going down to the bottom corner here, boosting his spring rolls. Core flip from Cragley backward through the portal. Gets it up in the top corner, but Jewish Asian holding the line. Core flip here to send it through the portal, but he's caught in the big finish. It's sent right back across the net. Lexar says right back at ya. What a crazy placement for that. And it's now match point for Chikara Eclipse.
Yeah, I mean, Lexar has played an absolutely insane amount of Finny goalie, and it shows. That is the kind of Finny ult placement that people dream about. Perfectly catching the course, swinging it right out of the way of the Luna nuke there, and cleanly into the bottom of the enemy net. I mean, not even slightly off. You know, if your brawler made that kind of shot with their strike, you'd be pleased to see it. So some seriously impressive stuff. The energy advantage is here for Chikara Eclipse. They've just gotten another KO. Lego, I think it's going to be lights out for Groundhog Day before long.
It's not looking great at the moment. Core flip here from Scandals. Oh, it's a bad angle, unfortunately. They will have to try again here. Sphinx comes back online. Pressing this bottom corner, but it'll just slip right back out. Now Jewish Agent back on the defense here. One-on-one against Scandals, actually picks up the KO with the somersault and holds on to the barriers here. Pass through the portal. Up to Spring Rolls in the corner, looking for the boost. Jewish Agent up on the midfield line, forcing this offense. The Tofu Fortress coming out. The Crater Maker as well. That's both barriers down. Just brute force and Jewish Agent becoming a new forward. A pass to Spring Rolls. Lexar holding it down. Sphinx looking for another shot. Spring Rolls able to win the strike war against Scandals and finds the bottom corner. Groundhog Day keeping it alive so far, but they got a big mountain to climb.
Well, and if there was anyone that they were going to KO in that point, it needed to be Scandals, removing those stacks on stacks. He's now reset to 8, which means that the speed advantage is now actually on Sphinx's side, since he's got that now mine to help him out. Certainly, you know, Sphinx is still looking low in the HP department, despite playing a healer, but for once, Groundhog Day, there are flashes of hope for them in this match, which we haven't seen in quite some time.
Looking a little bit better. It seems like they do well when Jewish Asian is able to push up and they're able to like force some offense, but obviously you can't always commit to that, especially right now. Sphinx is off the field. We'll respawn here. Chikara Eclipse pressing hard. Core flip here from Jewish Asian. Tries to wait everything out, but there's just too much stuff coming. That's an open net now. Groundhog Day. Craggley, the top side is down on the line. Nice save from Jewish Asian, but Lexar's right there to send it back in. Craggley with the slice and dice to the bottom corner. Glitch Pop doesn't find it, but a KO comes out. Onto Sphinx yet again. The core keeps assaulting Groundhog Day's side of the field right now. Scandals pass to Craggley, the slice and dice. That's going to hit some Jewish Asian, and that'll be the game. Game 1 going to Chikara Eclipse pretty decisively there. The Bite Breakers comp.
And a well-piloted Bite Breakers comp. I mean, everything that they're supposed to be good at, right? You get offensive possession, and you've got an Aimi turret holding it down. You've got a Zentaro doing all of his crazy mix-ups and dishing out insane amounts of damage. You can KO whenever you're bored. 7 KOs in total for the side of Chikara Eclipse. And even more damage, right? Like a lot of their damage wasn't even converted into KOs. It was literally just to remove Groundhog Day's players from the play. And that's exactly what they needed to do. And Scandals at the front of it all, 207 redirects in the midfield. Putting on a show there. And I gotta say, as we move into Game 2 Lego, I'm looking at Groundhog Day, and I'm hoping that they can break the time loop that we saw of those previous 3 sets. It looked like a run back over and over and over again, them only being able to pick up 1 or 2 goals a set. If they can change something, make something different happen, I'm hoping that they can come out on the other side of it and send us to a Game 3. But we'll see here momentarily.
All right, Game 2. Groundhog Day trying to stay alive in this series. This is Chikara Eclipse's map pick, Aten City. As we see the comps coming out here. A lot of double midfield coming out from Groundhog Day, as Cloak actually mentioned before this, but just take a look at the comps. See the Drakar goalie coming out from Lexar, so some interesting comps from both sides.
Yeah, and already I'm eyeing this double midfield comp from the side of Groundhog Day, and I'm wondering, are we just watching the same game over and over and over again? These guys, I do love to see it though. I'm actually I'm hyped about the double midfield. I've been seeing a lot of people experiment with it on this patch. And it seems pretty good, especially on Aten. You know, you have this big wide open map, having 2 ranged characters that can, or fast characters who can more easily cover all of the options that you have when there's so much space to work with. I think is pretty valuable. But that being said, Kazan is not going out of style, and we are seeing Scandals in the brawler position, rocking that Kazan this go round. So once more, Chikara Eclipse mixing up their roster, which is always fun to see.
Some players on different roles over there, and right now the Blobo's coming out here from Sphinx as they'll pick up KO here. Core flip coming out from Cragley to buy some time, able seeing the end of the barrier here. A nice Blobo redirect from Sphinx, gets it right around Lexar's core flip in that top corner. Groundhog Day able to tie it up here, and they're going to be retaining 2 core flips going into this next point. They look to make something happen.
Yeah, I think that Juno is an incredibly valuable pickup here, and especially comboed with the Estelle. Like, I think that this double midfield combo is pretty strong on this map. But I look at Juno, and you've got Cragley on the Kai, who's notoriously pretty good against Juno. But I think those Blobos are going to be very effective against Lexar. If you get some slimes in the net of Chikara Eclipse, I absolutely think Sphinx can wreak havoc, especially because it's a 1-2 punch start. So already these Juno slimes are looking quite dangerous. It is also a built different start. So we do have Scandals rocking the size Kazan very early, which is always pretty spooky. But if Sphinx and Spring Rolls are able to consistently keep possession like they have been, you shouldn't have to worry about that Kazan too much. And they seem to be doing a good job keeping him at bay for now. But the KO is found. Jewish Asian defends it away for a moment, though.
Nice strike war there. Another nice one, but Scandals keeps getting the rock, and the barrage coming in from Cragley. That's too many hits to deal with. Just right down the center of the net. Now Chikara Eclipse on set point here as, I mean, it's looking eerily similar to what we just saw previously. And we'll see if that continues. Scandals able to pick up a early barrier here. Spring Rolls and Sphinx trying to go back. Lexar actually, it's a bit of their own barrier. Now Spring Rolls with the core. Sphinx right behind him. Drops the Blobos, but Lexar able to rotate it around. Scandals in the midfield to pop up to keep control. The top spin in the corner. Not able to grab anything with the crooked leverage here. Spring Rolls now 1-on-3. Cragley rotates it around to the top side. The Blobo in the piercing shot, bringing it up to the top corner, and there's a Blobo waiting right there where Sphinx is able to capitalize and find the point. Now Groundhog Day going to bring it to a 0.5.
Yeah, a nice chase there. You know, normally Cragley was going up against any other brawler besides Estelle that rotate to the top side. Would have almost certainly secured an offense, but Spring Rolls on this Estelle is able to respond to it. That primary from across the map was able to set up Sphinx very nicely. You know, I was just about to comment on Jewish Asian's barrier going down, but the other barrier goes down. We're on Otten City. The barriers go down like every 2 seconds. It's honestly not that big of a deal.
But now both sides opened up. Sphinx and Spring Rolls pushing up toward the goal box here. Chikara Eclipse, nice rotation to get it off their side of the field. Sphinx battling over the midfield, but Cragley in the top corner. Nice patience from Jewish Asian to clear it out of there. Now Spring Rolls pushing the corner, looking for the piercing shot's going to be able to find it. And Groundhog Day will be able to pick up a set here in game 2 to start us off. Jewish Asian, the MVP.
Yeah, it's good to see Groundhog Day taking a set here. That being said, I don't think they're going to find too much leeway in this draft. You've got stacks on stacks and size awakenings waiting in the arms of Cragley and Scandals. Scandals will be grabbing Might of the Colossus there. And more size picked up via Among Titans on Cragley, who also gets speed, even though Jewish Asian did deny away stacks on stacks. Some size on Sphinx. Heavy impact on Lexar is going to be pretty valuable. And Spring Rolls will start spark scaling. It's, you know, I was going to say it's tough to say who came out on that draft. No, I think it's pretty obvious. It was another game of denials from the side of Groundhog Day. And Eclipse still got to run away with some fantastic awakenings. Like, more size on your Kazan, and you get power through Might, and you get speed on Cragley in the midfield. I think they are going to be even more scary than they already were last set.
Quick barrier down here. Snipe from
What a
Cragley, the Giga Blast. Cross net clear. got sniped away. That's the thing on Otten City is always like don't cross net clear when there's like a Stell on the other team, but Kai can do it too. There's a lot of long range characters in this match, and this is the map for it. And Chikara Eclipse start us off in set 2.
Yeah, and speaking of long range characters,
Oh.
wow, yeah, what a
What a
defensive
save.
sequence there. That was crazy. But yeah, I wanna comment on Lexar's gear choice. The momentum boots Drakkar, which is a new one, I think. And speed is not going to be able to catch that core in time. But yeah, normally we would expect to see strike shot on a Drakkar goalie, but Lexar is trying something new. And you know what? It's probably pretty decent with how good Mom Boots is right now. You're getting 15% speed when it's charged up to max, which you oftentimes get to pick. Another insane Giga Blast from Cragley calling out Springroll's core flip there. Yeah, we're keep seeing the Chikara Eclipse roll continue to move with no signs of stopping.
Good core flip there from Scandals. Springrolls is looking pretty hurt. Core flip here from Cragley for the pass, but Sphinx able to catch it. Scandals, though, able to hook it out of there. And a desperate battle over the midfield now. Groundhog Day able to push it into this bottom corner. Scandals with the top spin, able to recover it. Sphinx pushing right back. Springroll slowly trying to recover with the blink. Is going to be able to pick up the barrier. But now Cragley with Blazing Haste pushing up the field. Springroll's taking up the field. A pass to Scandals in the top corner. Core flip from Jewish Asian to rotate it out of there. Groundhog Day just trying to buy time, but Cragley down to the bottom corner. Scandals with the pop-up to finish it off. Chikara Eclipse bring it to set point again. We'll see if they'll be able to finish this one off.
Yeah, perfectly rotated around Sphinx there. Some very nice passing. And, passing in front of Sphinx to Scandal's dash into pop-up there was also very clean. Chikara Eclipse are still just very strong here. I think a lot of the hopes for Groundhog Day moving forward in this game rest on this next draft. Can you get more sparks on Springrolls? Can you get more core speed on Sphinx? Because right now, the core is pretty consistently in their net, and the energy advantage is solidly in the hands of Eclipse.
Wabo coming in will force Lexar to burn one of those flips. Jewish Asian is able to rotate down to the bottom side here. Core flip here from Scandals, looking for the pass, but Sphinx able to cut it off. Bring back into the top corner. Springroll's looking for the strike where it gets it, but Lexar brings it to the bottom side, and Springroll's able to find the blink and snipe it right into the net. Groundhog Day bringing us to another 0.5 here in set 2. Looking to turn things around. Springroll still has a flip and going to have 2 more available probably this point.
Jewish Asian does have stacks on stacks up, so he's able to rotate across this barrier very quickly. He's catching all the rotations that Eclipse is throwing his way. But Springrolls is also looking low in the health department, so there's only so long that Jewish Asian can keep up against this onslaught. But his forwards managed to find him a bit of purchase here. It's not long though before it swings right back in the other direction. I mean, it's like a pendulum. It's so fast that Eclipse get it off of defense, and then immediately that offense starts back up, and it seems like they always have their abilities for offense. It's very well done by them. But that being said, it is their barrier that's down right now, and the Sharks of Groundhog Day are closing in.
Closing in indeed. We head to overtime. Groundhog Day still with their barrier available. Sphinx pushing up into the corner. A Blabo versus the shotguns, able to sink it in. And Groundhog Day, they'll take another 0.5 in a second set here. Off some quick thinking from Sphinx, and they'll get MVP as we head into this draft.
Ooh. Yeah, and that is... Oh, okay, what a dilemma. You have the hot shot, but there is also a prime time waiting in the hands of Kazan. I do think you should probably just take the hot shot there. The denial game, I think it's a risky one to play, but team player makes it back to Jewish Asian somehow, which is a massive boon for the side of Groundhog Day, who now If they can close out one more set, they'll be sending us to game 3. And that hot shot floats all the way back to spring rolls. That was a very, very good turnout for that draft for the side of Groundhog Day. So you know what? I take back what I said. Sphinx, you know what you're doing.
And already some big pressure coming out from Groundhog Day early on in that point, attacking that top corner, and it's like they're going to try and keep it up. Sphinx doing a good job holding the line. We'll finally get back to Jewish Asian, but Cragley waiting right there. Stop the pass with the Giga Blast, is going to snipe it in yet again. The Giga Blasts have just been deadly this series, or this game rather, from Cragley, it feels like.
Yeah, he's always waiting. And we don't really see him burn Giga for anything else. It seems like he's just constantly threatening that out clear. And he's demonstrated multiple times now that if you actually give him that out clear, he's going to punish it. And he does have the flip waiting here. Even though it is Groundhog Day up in sets, Chikara Eclipse still certainly not at all behind in this game. Very, very scary. Every time they get in the goal box, Jewish Asian is having to burn so much and be so tight on these defensive clears just to make sure that the game stays alive.
Struggling right now to get anything meaningful set up. A nice core flip pass from Sphinx, but Lex are able to core flip it right back, though. It's going to float back to spring rolls here. Cragley forcing it back out to Scandals. The snare drums comes out from Jewish Asian. Get it back across the field here. Cragley past to Scandals in the bottom side. Not able to retain it. It's over to Spring Rolls looking for the Thorns, but no cross net there from Lexar. Head into overtime. Jewish Asian brings it around to the bottom side. Scandals with the Strike War brings it up to the top side. Giga Blast not able to find the nets. Back up to Cragley, down to Scandals looking to the top side. Doesn't even need a flip for it. Just a perfect setup from Chikara Eclipse to find the angle. And they'll bring it to set point.
Yeah, it's looking like they're finding their stride here, and Scandals does have core flip. Cragley is close to one. No one's particularly close on the side of Groundhog Day except Jewish Asian, and he's probably not going to get one before Cragley and Scandals both burn theirs in an effort to close out the set. Here comes flip number 1. There's flip number 2, but Jewish Asian calls it out on the goal line. But it's not too far after that Cragley wins the strike war. That's a set for the side of Eclipse.
A modern tragedy for Groundhog Day. Defend both the flips and then lose the strike war to lose the set. But see Big Fish showing up. Extra special is on the board. Something tells me that some people might be eyeing that up here. It'll be Big Fish going over to Jewish Asian, though, opting to keep the size away from Scandals, who goes for the glass cannon. Extra special there picked up by Cragley. Spark of Focus to Lexar. That's only the first spark that they've gotten, but it does deny it away from Spring Rolls, who goes for the Orb Replicator instead, which, you know, it at least has some value here on this map.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's a bad pickup, especially because Spring Rolls on slick kicks has a lot of downtime in this match. Like, less so because, you know, you are still playing Estelle. You can't just, like, you know, sit around and do nothing. But certainly there are times when, like, it's not too much of a detour for him to just run down and grab that orb right there. So, you know, you'll be feeding some extra energy, maybe some healing to the teammates. It's more so the energy, though. I think the core flips have been a massive, massive decider in who's taking these sets. So getting the tip rotor swing slightly more in the favor of Groundhog Day could give them that third and final set that they need to take us to game 3.
Both barriers down. Energy slowly rising for both sides. Core flip here from Sphinx, looking for the pass, but Scandal's able to interrupt that, and now bring it to the top corner. Sphinx is going to have to work to try and dig it out, but Scandal's walking up with the flip, and able to find much. But Cragley in the top corner, able to get a good angle there. No one from Groundhog Day able to get up there in time. The core just slipped up there. And Chikara Eclipse with 2 flips up. They take the first point.
Oh, wow. And a KO. I didn't even see. Was that just a raw Juno blob? Is that what KO'd there? That's crazy. I guess Sphinx does have Prize Fighter. Now he's got 2 Prize Fighter stacks after that kill. But wow, everybody always underestimates how hard that Juno primary can hit. Those things hurt. I don't know what she puts in those blobs, but they do not feel good to get smacked with.
Sphinx moving up in his top corner again. Looking for some kind of setup, but Cragley holding onto the core, just baiting out Springroll's abilities. Getting some cooldowns off of this Estelle. The Blobos come out, but they've basically run their course at this point. Now Chikara Eclipse and looks to get their turn, though. Nice recovery here from Groundhog Day. They push back. Core flip here from Sphinx, brings it into the top corner, gets the demon angle, and is perfect into the nets. 1-1 in set 4.
Yeah, it is definitely victory is within grasp for Groundhog Day here. They only need a few more points where you can just make it run long enough for the team player. The Juno, honestly, all 3 members of Groundhog Day have a large amount of core speed in their builds, and if you let it run long enough, that core speed is inevitably going to get to you. I mean, look at the zigzagging Juno blobs all the way up, putting them on match point. And I got to say it, Lego, I believe in them. I think we're about to see them close it out.
At 1 point away here. They've got some energy to be able to work with. Of course, Eclipse does as well. See if Groundhog Day can keep this series going. In the top corner. Putting Chikara Eclipse on their heels a little bit here. Springroll's putting pressure. Chikara Eclipse able to recover and get it back out. Precision. Sphinx makes a good defensive stand here. Now in the midfield of the top corner. A crooked leverage brings it to the top side. Core flip straight in. Scandal's coming out on top with the barrier. Core flip here lost from Cragley. But still the offense going. But Scandal's getting a little too close to that edge. Gets shot off. And now it's a power play for Groundhog Day. Core flip from Lexar. Tries to get it past. Core flip from Sphinx to send it back into the top corner. Lexar making a save. Now Springroll's looking for another shot to this barrier. Piercing shot will get it. Now Core flip in front of the net. Right through 2 of them. Springroll seals the deal. And it will be a game 3 coming out from Groundhog Day.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the sleeper MVP draft pick of that final set was Prize Fighter on Sphinx. I mean, that really was the difference maker. Both of the power plays that Groundhog Day were able to secure were swiftly converted into goals. They made it look easy. They made it look easy that last set. Prize Fighter Juno, never forget, getting smacked in the face with blobs freaking hurts, and that's a well-deserved MVP in that game for Sphinx, not only picking up those couple of power plays, but also having 174 redirects and 6 goals to his name. So yeah, well played to Groundhog Day. Lego, what do you think we're about to see? We've now gotten to see two games of these teams. Both of them kind of mirror images of one another. Groundhog Day seemed pretty strong, especially in that final set there of Game 2. But that's completely opposite to Game 1, where it was just Eclipse's day to run the show for seemingly the entire game. Do you have any predictions for what Game 3 is going to look like? What these guys are going to change up in the locker room before we head in?
Honestly, when it's a series like this, where it's like Game 1 and 2 are both like semi-sweeps and they go in opposite directions, I really have no clue what to expect. But it will be on Clarion Corp. So there's that. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I have no idea what to expect here. But I think it's time to wake up. I think it's Groundhog Day.
It's Groundhog Day. I mean, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Both these teams looking quite strong, and we'll see how it all concludes here in just a moment.
Game 3, missile prop spec training start for all the marbles here. Lexar busting out the Juno goalie, Scandals, Cragley running the Era, Zen, and now Sphinx who's running the Drakkar goalie this time. Or sorry, not the Drakkar forward this time. My bad. Jewish Asian is the goalie, of course. But yeah, this is for all the money in what has so far been a pretty dynamic series.
Yeah, it was a lot of valuable picks and bans, though, for the side of Eclipse. Obviously, stealing away Sphinx's Juno, but also banning away the Estelle. It seemed like they didn't want Spring Rolls back on that Estelle, or Sphinx. Caused them a lot of problems last game. But it does mean that you have to face off against the Spring Rolls Rasmus, perhaps his most well-known character. So, you wouldn't catch me uh, banning out the Estelle over the Rasmus, but I guess when you're coming off of that game 2, losing to that double midfield comp, you don't want to see it replicated again. But it is Eclipse with the barrier advantage. Jewish Asian holding strong on the open net, but we'll see if he can keep it up, or if Groundhog Day can manage to even up the barriers here.
For that top one, but a core flip from Lexar gets it out. Core flip here from Scandals looking for the pass, not able to find anything here. Groundhog trying to send it back in. Blabo making things a little bit difficult though. Sphinx doesn't find much. Cragley for Jewish Asian there. Jewish Asian buys the clear. Then the Blobos once again from Lexar just holding his midfield line, not letting Groundhog Day get an inch as Cragley goes to the bottom corner. Doesn't find much, but on the rebound gets into the top side. A great mix-up there, and not much of a way out for Groundhog Day as Chikara Eclipse strike first in Game 3.
Now, striking first, and I will say, this is a fascinating comp to draft on spec training missile propulsion start. You have missile prop, judo, very polarizing pick. Not a lot of people like it, because it takes the ult longer to come out when you have missile prop. Spec training Zentaro, which is okay. I mean, we just saw it deal a lot of damage right there. And missile prop era. None of these characters really get a ton of benefit from these awakenings. Like, definitely, if I'm just looking at who's benefiting more from starting awakenings, it is obviously Groundhog Day, who do manage to score a goal, even though Scandals' Arenado was able to find a KO onto Sphinx before the net was put into the back of their goal. So Groundhog Day tying it up. I do expect them to take set 1 just because they have a comp that's actually taking advantage of the missile prop and the spec training, and 3 characters who are really strong with those awakenings. But certainly I think Eclipse, the fact that they're already scoring goals now, gives us an idea as to their prospects in the rest of this game. And possibly this set 1, who knows? They could surprise me.
Okay, holding on against the power play. Spring rolls back online. They will lose 1 barrier. Cragley trying to make it 2, but defense is so far holding. Corflip here from Lexar passes it back up the field, and now Scandals with the pass here to Cragley. Gets put in the ensnare drums. The battle over this midfield line rages on. In this top corner, Scandals going back to their own side of the field with the core here, but Spring Rolls look for a breakaway. Doesn't have the range on the pendulum swing to make the goal happen. Then on the bottom here from Cragley, just looking to keep possession. Ultimately, it'll float back to Groundhog Day. Their side of the map. Dashing in, Cragley will lose a strike war here to Jewish Asian. Looking for some damage onto Sphinx, though. Possibly looking to pick up a KO. Lexar able to snipe away the center orb here. Core flip from Jewish Asian, just going to stall it out. So we're waiting for a good opportunity here. Sphinx, though, able to pick up a KO as a power play for Groundhog Day. Sphinx with a pass up to Spring Rolls here into the top corner. Spring Rolls doesn't even need to touch it. It'll just go right in. And Groundhog Day bring it to set point.
Strong showing from them, as I was expecting. Certainly Sphinx on this missile prop Drek is spooky. And I think that a lot of the variants on Clarion are actually pretty favorable for Drek midfield. Usually he's a character that's tough to make work in the midfield, to say the least. But I think Clarion is one of his better maps. That being said, Scandals and Cragley did have a beautiful setup there. Just kind of ran circles around in the midfield until the perfect flip opportunity showed up. So they do tie up the set, and there's a chance that they could just take this one and completely throw everything I said out the window.
Flip here from Spring Rolls opens up the goal, but they'll lose 1 on the return. Cragley makes it 2. And now Chikara Eclipse pressing hard against the goal line. GHOG able to find the clear, though. Get it out of there. A lot of damage onto some of the forwards, though, and Springroll's able to come up with the KO, but it doesn't matter because Cragley with the core in the one-on-one is able to make it happen, and Chikara Eclipse, they'll be sneaking away with this set one here. Scandal's the MVP.
Yeah, wow, that's not at all how I expected that to play out, and this is a disgustingly good draft for them as well. Stacks on stacks guaranteed on the era. Cragley likely not going to get explosive. I bet that's denied away. Yep. But you still get fight or flight. I mean, wow. Zen is not upset about that at all. Once more, a game of denials for Groundhog Day, taking away this Might of the Colossus from Spring Rolls. Or rather, actually, that's Lexar playing the denial game this go round. Grabbing Might. But Spring Rolls now has extra specialized training. Certainly not a bad combo on Rasmus. I think it's pretty strong even with the specialized training nerfs. Combo is still really, really good. And Sphinx is going to be killing even more with that spark of strength. So I think that we're actually going to see a lot of power plays for the side of Groundhog Day. And as they've proved to us over the course of this series, they're usually pretty good at converting those into goals. That being said, it is Chikara Eclipse holding strong in the goal box for the time being.
Yeah, it's some almost good-looking opportunities, but gonna get another one there. Springroll's able to finally convert on that pendulum swing and pick up the first point here for Groundhog Day. I mean, this is, I think, still pretty much anyone's game. It's so hard to like entirely justify like who's got an advantage at any given time in this game in particular. I think it's just been so like weirdly back and forth, but it seems like when Groundhog Day is able to get a power play, they're usually able to make something happen, whereas it feels like Chikara Eclipse is a little bit better in the 3-on-3.
Yeah, certainly. Well, and Scandals has repeatedly been, you know, the kind of the key player for Chikara Eclipse, right? When Scandals is alive, it almost seems like there's no weakness on offense or defense, right? But the moment that he gets staggered, Groundhog Day can pump out some really, really impressive plays. So I think as long as they keep the damage onto Scandals, it shouldn't be a problem for them in this game. But that also means that they've got to deny away survivability from Scandals. And you've got to, you know, continue to scale the damage and make sure that Cragley and Lexar are kept in check as well. So it's very much a balancing act, as it often is with these comps that are better at KOing. And you also have to make sure that you're staying alive yourself. Like, look, Spring Rolls getting taken down to almost a 0 stagger here will likely be shortly staggered. There it goes. So yeah, if Groundhog Day start to get KO'd themselves, obviously this game could swing back in the other direction very quickly.
There it is. Power play for Chikara Eclipse. They look to open up this barrier here. Core flip from Scandals on the line. After some bouncing, we'll be able to pick it up. And Sphinx not looking too healthy here. Going to get KO'd by Cragley in his own goal box. Springles, though, going to make some 1-on-2 happen. Picking up that second barrier, but the core getting past Jewish Asian. A little bit of a slip there on the top side, and Scandals just going to fly right in and scoop it up. And that's the point for Chikara Eclipse. Groundhog Day cannot afford to let this set slip out of their hands, I don't think.
Man, it's going to be tricky. Cragley and Scandals seem to have remembered that Zentaro can also deal a lot of damage, and Era can just shrink the enemy forwards that have been, you know, killing them for the rest of this set. So, but that being said, Jewish Asian actually finding a KO there. Missile Prop Mako coming in clutch, taking Cragley off the pitch and with a core flip in tow. Very high value there. Will mean a power play for Groundhog Day, but Scandals holds in the meantime. The stacks on stacks means that he can get anywhere on the field he needs to be to respond to whatever Groundhog Day can throw at them.
Open goal on Chikara Eclipse's side of the field here. They do look to assault this final barrier of Groundhog Day, though. Sphinx back up to Spring Rolls. It's going to get cut. We play around this invisibility lane on the bottom side. The aerodrome's coming out. Spring Rolls looking for a death touch play. So that's going to get broken up. Now Scandal's dribbling up the field. Sphinx holding the top corner here on the defense. The NATO comes in, though, and that's going to be Jewish Asian taken off the map. Goalie power play for Chikara Eclipse. Sphinx trying to hold this barrier, but Cragley will bring it down. On the top side of the net. Springroll's doing a good job cutting the pass so far. Pulls Cragley out of the way with the death touch, and Jewish Asian back online. Makes the save with the primary as well across the net. Groundhog Day right back into this point here. Cragley pushing up against this tornado. Nice save from Jewish Asian in the corner. Rotates it around the top side. Core flip here from Lexar. The Acer drums coming out, though. Core bouncing around at Mach speed. Sphinx, a pass up to Springrolls here. Has the whiplash speed, but Scandals with the core. Brings it back up to Cragley. Looking for the one-on-one, but he gets cleared back out of there. Springroll's trying to recover possession. Lexar makes the save. Now Springroll's looking for a breakaway. Sets up the death touch. Goes for the bottom side, but Lexar holds firm. Doesn't fall for the bait. Cragley with a shot to the bottom here. Ricochets off the bumper. Might have another opportunity. Springrolls gets back just in time. Force him out, but Cragley able to get the core yet again. Finds the slice and dice hit stun, and we will be taking this to a 0.5.
I mean, it's baffling, right? Because there's no damage awakenings on Cragley. Era, not really known for dealing like a ton of damage unless, you know, she's like spamming mini NATOs at you. You know, Juno will chip you down over time. You'd look at this and you'd think, yeah, you know, there's some potential for KOs from Chikara Eclipse, but no, they are consistently churning out this damage. It seems like Sphinx and Springrolls are constantly playing their lives and having no opportunity to replicate the insane bursts of momentum that we saw at the start of this set. So unless they can find a power play of their own here, I struggle to see how this won't end in another victory for Chikara Eclipse, at least for this set.
Cragley bringing it up to the corner here. Lexar jumping up. Get a little interaction offensively. The snare drums are out. Scandal's dribbling up the field to the bottom side. Sphinx coming in to interrupt the play. Back over to Springrolls now. In a 1-on-2, trying to force the bottom side of this barrier while Sphinx and Cragley fight over that center orb. We're getting back to Jewish Asian. Here's Lexar, jumps up to the midfield, drops the Blobos. Jewish Asian making the clear around, back toward the center. Core flip from Lexar, brings it back up to Scandals. Core flip from Jewish Asian, has to wait it out, but Scandals just sends it right back in. Cragley, and they keep the offense going. Scandals able to get to the top corner and recover the strike before Sphinx was able to touch it. And Chikara Eclipse, Odo, they have brought the set back, and now they're up 2-0. Scandals gonna be picking up Monumentalist here.
Yeah, what other pick would there be for Era? I mean, some people would go for that cast to last, but Monu NATOs are too good. They're just undeniably too good. Interestingly enough, built different, hovered by Lexar here, building into that Might of the Colossus that he picked up earlier in the series. Cragley getting the massive KO swing awakening in the form of bulk up. Survivability denied away from Springrolls, and also picking up survivability and KO potential, which they've been, you know, using plenty of. So yeah, Eclipse, they're going to be KOing a lot more this set. I'm looking at this now, and it's looking pretty dire for the side of Groundhog Day. I still think that probably their only win condition is them getting some power plays of their own, which hinges mostly on Sphinx's ability to stay alive and position smartly. For the time being, Scandals is the one who is in charge of the midfield, and it's going to take some serious work to change that.
Solid goal line stand there from Groundhog Day, but still struggling to get it off their side of the field and get some offense going. And Cragley's going to pick up a KO there onto Sphinx as their final barrier falls. Cragley trying to bring it into the top side, and I save from Jewish Asian here, and Springrolls winning a strike war to prevent the pass. Jumping up, Lexar has the core flip available here. Looking to go off the center. Doesn't get a very good angle on it, and it goes right back around this top side. Now the Blobos coming out on the offense, but Jewish Asian sends it across the map, and Lexar does not have the speed to reach that one. That overtime core speed, just able to sink it right in. Groundhog Day striking first in set 3 as they look to mount yet another potential comeback.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the hardest one that they've yet attempted That last draft was so valuable for all three members of Chikara Eclipse. But Groundhog Day appeared to have just flipped some sort of switch here. I mean, we're seeing fantastic core flips come out. Sphinx is making good plays. Look at that Molten Bolt snipe. If the tempo keeps up like this, Groundhog Day actually stand a chance to bring this one back.
Spring Rolls in a little bit of trouble here. Having to play around the center, not die. But Groundhog Day performing well under pressure right now. Zenalt, though, on the line. Lexar jumping up, but Jewish Asian deflecting every shot that Cragley has made so far. There's the Aeronado coming out, not able to grab a core with it. Core flip from Scandals is blocked as well at the midfield line. Now Groundhog Day looking to push up and finally get some offense going of their own. Cragley shutting down Sphinx here as we head into overtime. Spring Rolls looking to chase up and get this core. Arrow beam from Scandals. A dribble off the center here. Has another NATO set up. Doesn't find anything. Spring Rolls with a death touch play on the top side. Looking for the pendulum swing. A perfect setup for Spring Rolls to find the goal in the 1-on-2. Groundhog Day bringing it to set point. A glimmer of hope, an opportunity to keep this one going.
Yeah, and again, this has nothing to do, or at least little to nothing to do with the awakenings picked up by Groundhog Day in that last draft. It really does just seem like they're playing more deliberately here. Sphinx is towing that midfield line a lot better, being able to catch more of these rotations. He's not letting Scandals just, run all over him and run past him with this stacks on stacks. And he's also staying alive, right? Like, Cragley is still dishing out a lot of damage here, but Sphinx is playing around it a little bit more. We haven't seen him KO'd as much this set. It does seem like Groundhog Day are finding their footing here. And if they're just 1 point away from keeping the series alive, making something beautiful happen. It's going to be hard to do, though, because Cragley did finally find his prey. Sphinx is off the map once more.
But Groundhog Day have been holding firm in these power plays, but that's going to be traded as Spring Rolls gets taken off the map right as Sphinx respawns. Now they're going to have to wait out yet another one here. Lexar able to take down that barrier from across map, and Spring Rolls coming back online now. Spring Rolls up at the top side with the whiplash dribble, able to bring down the second barrier. Cragley on the return. Can get an angle there, but Spring Rolls looking for a death touch setup into the top side. What a jump save by Lexar, though. Brings it back around for Cragley and Scandals to make something happen as the Monunator set up. It takes Jewish Asian off the map, and Cragley just hits it right in. A crazy last-ditch effort there from Chikara Eclipse, the save to the goal, and they are not going to let this set fall so easily.
Yeah, certainly not. And, of course, those first 2 points that we saw Groundhog Day grab, it was when Scandals did not have the stacks and stacks up and running. Now he has it, and that's another power play. Sphinx caught by the Monunado once more. This point's starting to look familiar again, Lego. We have 2 core flips walking up the field. Cragley will burn his first. Attaches it with the Zen primary. That's series point for the side of Chikara Eclipse. Just one more, and they could end it right here. That glimmer of hope that we just saw from Groundhog Day, it's dwindling. It's dwindling so much.
Yeah. It's slipping from their grasp here. They gotta lock in and make this happen, or this week could be all over for them. That's one barrier gone. Cragley still holding on to this core, looking to make it 2. Scandals as well, setting up the Monunado. Is going to get 2 of them, and that's Jewish Asia taking off the field yet again. The barrier opening up, and it might be imminent. Chikara Eclipse. The sunlight is fading. Can you feel it? I can. Scandals looking for a shot. What a save by Sphinx, though. In the strike board, Jewish Asian will come back online. Another Monunado coming up vertically that time. Spring Rolls will be able to survive, though. Cragley looking for a breakaway play here. Not able to connect the core. And then from the center, Scandals now going up to the top side. A pass to Cragley. Goes for the dribble instead. And Scandals is going to win the strike war. And right to the bottom side. Sphinx can't catch up with the Xenocloak and Chikara Eclipse. They will be taking the series in an oh-so-familiar Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, Groundhog Day might be all about whether the Groundhog comes up out of the hole, sees his own shadow. But I think the only shadow this Groundhog is seeing right now is the shadow of the moon as it crosses in front of the sun, blotting out all hope as Chikara Eclipse take a sweeping victory there. Even though Groundhog Day were able to find something there in Game 2, take us to a Game 3, this was very much a reprisal of Game 1. Cragley and Scandals only needing 9 goals to end it there. And once more, Scandals, the king of the midfield, rocking 269 redirects. It really did just seem like he was unstoppable and getting so many fantastic awakenings. Like every both Game 1 and 3, Scandals just having so much speed at his disposal to catch every single thing that Groundhog Day could throw his way. So well played to Scandals, well played to the rest of Chikara Eclipse. A well-fought victory.